Good evening, welcome. Giving everybody a moment to hop on and join me live. Jamming out in the meantime. Welcome, good evening. Okay. Enough jamming out. Good evening. Welcome. Jessa Carter, the Peaceful Billionaire here. And I'm just going to start by sharing how incredible that felt, because there was certainly a time in my life when I would, under no circumstances, have been going on camera in any capacity, singing and dancing, with the possibility of making a fool of myself. So that feels incredible. I had the most amazing coaching call with some of my clients this evening. And hey, Fred. So I had the most amazing call, and one of my clients asked me something, right? Hey, Jacqueline. One of my clients asked me, she knows of my background, my story, my journey when it comes to vulnerability. And she said, how do you feel about that? And where do you think you are on that journey? And I said, I wrote it on my higher power statement many years ago that my continued evolving and unfolding journey of an ability to be vulnerable is a divine gift of feminine power and strength. But for most of my life, it was something that was not just a challenge or a struggle for me. For a majority of my life, it was something that I was absolutely incapable of. So it felt really good. So you all happened to hop on like right after the encore. I was singing and dancing. The song came up of the Kiara song Feels. So I was jamming out to Feels before we hopped on. But enough about that. Last night, if you were here, I was chatting about tip number 7. Hey, Tyler. If you were here last night, I was talking about tip number 7 of 10 ways to unleash your inner billionaire, optimize your mind for inevitable success, right? To optimize and leverage 100% of your mind, which if you know me or if you don't know me yet, I'm always talking about the mind as a $27 billion asset, right? Your mind is a $27 billion asset with 27 billion kilowatts of power available to you. And so what I talked about last night is being mindful, bringing your awareness to sayings that you've probably heard your whole life and that you've probably used a lot. So I had this realization when I was writing my first book, when I was writing The Peaceful Millionaire, that sayings are these like really, really, really sneaky things, because again, these sayings, so for example, so you've heard, fake it till you make it. Money doesn't grow on trees, right? Money is the root of all evil. You've heard these sayings before. And what happens with sayings, because you've heard them with such repetition, and oftentimes you've said them unknowingly, right? That they were getting stored subconsciously. So what happened is, because of that repetition, a lot of the sayings, common sayings in the world, are actually stored subconsciously as part of your belief system, which is driving your behaviors, patterns, and habits. Now, in particular, when it comes to those sayings about money, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. There are many, many more. right? But that actually becomes part of your subconscious programming. And then as an adult, you wonder, you wonder why your success journey and your journey to financial freedom or wealth is challenging. And so those things are there. And so the shift that I talked about last night in particular, really with the fake it till you make it, because it's so unsupportive, right? Because those sayings, many of them are very unsupportive and they're disempowering, right? So there has to be a shift or a reframe to something that is supportive and that is empowering. And the fake it until you make it really, really is part of what drives this culture of people saying that they are feeling or that they're experiencing imposter syndrome. Now, I personally, because I come from a medical background, it's not a real medical diagnosis, right? It's two words that got linked together that a lot of people subscribe to, and unfortunately, it becomes a bit of a scapegoat. And the truth is you are who you are, and you cannot be anyone else, right? You can focus on being a higher, better version of yourself, but you are who you are. It's not about being someone else. So don't fake it, right? Don't fake it until you make it. Faith it until you make it. That's what we were chatting about last night. And I ended up getting on the subject of talking, and I was like, oh, this is actually what I'm going to share and talk about tomorrow night, which is I want to talk to you about two different things. The difference between mindset and mastery, and the difference between manifestation and co-creation. Because there's a lot of talk out there in the world, and that the language of manifestation these days is everywhere, and people use it and they teach it and they preach it, but not everyone truly understands it, or at what point there becomes a limitation with it. And so what manifestation actually is and what manifestation actually means is a thought brought forward, right? A thought brought forth, or a thought brought forward. And there is oh gosh, there's a book that I read many years ago, great book, by Mike Dooley, Infinite Possibilities. And and he uses the terminology thoughts become things. And that I agree with. Your thoughts are very powerful. And so do your thoughts have the power to bring things forward? Yes. Right? But there is limitation, because it's not just your thoughts that are creating your current experience, your current reality, right? So not just your thoughts. So I don't teach manifestation. What I actually teach and what I use for myself personally is co-creation. And again, the reason for that, and I kind of fell I don't want to say victim. Victim's not the right word, because I'm not a victim mindset person. I'm going to say I fell naive. I fell naive to the concept of manifestation early on, having not really understood it myself, and understanding that there's a limitation, because you do have to be mindful of it, because there's some things that you can think and it's going to show up in your reality like practically in the blink of an eye, right? Almost spontaneously. You think it and then poof, all of a sudden there it is. And your thoughts are that powerful to a certain degree, right? But when it comes to things like your financial destiny, or a romantic partnership, or some of these other things that require a lot of other things, right? So you're not just going to sit there and think about $1 billion and it just show up on your doorstep. I mean, as fabulous as that would be, right? Like, literally, if you do nothing but think about $1 billion, like, it's not just going to magically show up on your doorstep. And so that's my frustration with manifestation, right? Because it is only reliant on thoughts. And while your thoughts are extraordinarily powerful, I'm not discounting how powerful your thoughts are, but it's actually your ability to create and to co-create is powered by multiple things, right? And so co-creation Co-creation is an actual like equation, and what's really cool about co-creation is you can then reverse engineer it. So going forwards, co-creation is the quality of your thoughts plus the quality of your feelings plus the quality of your beliefs, right? And the sum of those three things leads to the quality of your actions, and the sum of all four of those things equals your reality. So if the quality of your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs are low, or if the quality of your thoughts, your feelings, beliefs are low, or if the quality of any of one of those categories is low, right? The quality of your actions is affected, and then your outcome, your result, or the reality that you experience is not the quality that you would like for it to be either, right? So the path and the journey on co-creation is a consistent raising of the quality of all of those things, raising the quality of your thoughts, raising the quality of your feelings, raising the quality of your beliefs, which raises the quality of your actions, and automatically creates a desired outcome, the result that you're looking for, right? So it's all of those things working in conjunction with one another, not any one of those things single-handedly. And a lot of people kind of throw the feeling side off to the wayside. This is so apropos that I was jamming out to the Kiara song "Feels" before you all hopped on, because the feelings part of that equation, your feelings, your emotion behind the thoughts and the beliefs and the actions, your feelings are the jet fuel, right? When you turn up the quality and the frequency of your feelings, you're turning up it's like pouring jet fuel on your dreams, your goals, and your desires, right? So that is part of the power of that, right? So again, so thought in and of itself, extremely powerful, but the combination of a really high quality of thoughts, a really high quality and vibration of feeling, a really high quality of beliefs gives you a really high quality level of action, right? And you're co-creating the outcome that you choose. You can also use that in reverse, right? You can also reverse engineer. So you can think about, okay, what is the result that I'd like to achieve? What is the desired outcome that I would like to achieve? And then you can actually use the equation and reverse engineer it. Okay, the result, the goal, the desired outcome that I would like to achieve is, an extra $5,000 a month in passive income. Maybe it's $10,000 a month in passive income, an extra, right? Okay, right? So you reverse engineer that. You're like, okay, the desired outcome is, we'll call it 5,000. I usually like to talk super big numbers, because and there's a reason for that too, but for another time. So let's say it's 5,000. So if you reverse engineer, this is my desired outcome, right? To have that extra $5,000 of passive income a month in say, like, let's say within the next 3 months, that would be a goal. So how do I reverse engineer to co-create that actual in my physical reality? Well, you reverse engineer it, you go backwards, right? So like, what are the thoughts that I need to think that are going to support that outcome, right? What are the quality of the thoughts I need to have? What do I need to be thinking in order to support that outcome? What are the quality of the feelings? What is the emotion I need to have behind creating that, right? What is the level of belief? What is the quality of belief, right? Like if your quality of belief is uncertain, that might happen, it might not, right? The quality of your belief is uncertain, that's not going to support the outcome, right? So you have to have, so what are the beliefs, right? What are the thoughts you need to think? What are the feelings you need to feel? What are the beliefs that, what do you need to turn up the volume on your beliefs? What are the beliefs you need to be, thinking about, right? As well, what do you believe is going to happen, right? You believe it and then you see it, right? Most people think you have to see it and then you believe it. No, you believe it and then you see it, right? So you're deepening your belief. And one of the most powerful things you can pour onto that belief, right? The most powerful feeling or emotion that you can put behind that belief, right? I believe, I know it to be so, is faith, right? That there's some of that jet fuel, right? You believe it. You believe it to be so, and then you see it, right? You pour that faith into it. And faith is one of the energies that clears the channel, it's a really, really powerful energy and frequency that brings what you're working towards forward, right? You have that absolute faith, that absolute belief that where you get to this point of, this is really, really powerful language that I'm giving you, that with absolute certainty that you will in fact have that result and that desired outcome, or something greater, right? So think about that language, right? So you're not haphazardly hoping it's going to happen, right? With absolute certainty that it's going to happen. Well, how do you know that? Well, with absolute certainty that you're going to achieve the desired outcome of the result, or receive something even greater, because you're elevating the quality of your thoughts to support that. You're elevating your emotions and pouring some faith in there to support that. You're elevating the quality of what you believe, right? You're even taking it a step beyond belief, right? You believe it to be so. No, right? I believe it to be so. I know with absolute certainty that is in fact going to be the case. Right? And so that quality of thought, feeling, and belief leads to a much higher quality of actions, right? And it's ultimately the quality of the actions that's going to bring forth that physical result. But it's not any one of the things, right? Because if the quality of your feelings, your thoughts, and your beliefs is down, the quality of your actions is going to be crap too. Right? So the speed, right, at which you get from point A to point B is going to be significantly impaired. So that's the difference, right? So that's the difference between manifestation and co-creation. Not that manifestation is bad. And this is something that most people don't realize. And your thoughts are very powerful. Again, I'm not discounting that powerful at all. The thing is like, the truth is actually that everyone is manifesting all the time. You are in fact manifesting all the time, because you're thinking all the time, except for when you're sleeping, or at least you're not consciously aware of it when you're sleeping, right? But you're thinking all the time. So whether you know it or not, and whether you want to or not, you are constantly manifesting to some degree, just simply by way of your thoughts. So manifestation is real and it does happen. But when it comes to like really, really creating bigger things, like I said, there's a lot of things in life. You can't just sit there and think about and do nothing else and expect to actually receive the thing, right? So there's another saying, and this one, this is one of my favorites, right? So I think, right, with thought I bring forth, with action I receive. So with thought, you can either bring something forward or push something away, and it is through action that you receive. It is through action that you receive, right? So with thought, right, your thoughts are super powerful, so your thoughts can bring something closer or put them further away. With action I receive. And that was the part that was missing for me for so long, because you just the law of attraction and you just think about it and it's going to come. Not true with a lot of things, right? It's a combination of those things, right? And so that really plays into also why what I do, everything that I do is very strategic, everything that I do is very intentional, because of my background in neuroscience, because of my background in behavioral and social science, because of that understanding of how the mind works, not only physically, right? So you have it. So because of the neurosurgery background, like I very much understand how the brain works physically, but there's the physical aspects of the mind, and then there's physical aspects of your brain, and then there's your mind, right? And those entities, those two entities perform very different functionally, right? They have a very different functionality. And so that's the reason that I teach and I use co-creation, not only for myself, right? Because of the power, because it is a combination of these things. It is not just your thought, even though your thoughts are extraordinarily powerful, right? And then mastery versus mindset, right? Why do I talk everything that I do is mind, money, or success mastery versus just mindset work? Right. And that's the other big thing. And I'm not knocking anyone, right? Like mindset work is valuable. And it's useful, but there's still limitation with it. And I'm just someone who I'm a go big or go home girl. I've never really liked to play by anybody else's rules. Limitation is not my thing. So if I come to an understanding of a better way, right, to go beyond limitation, to go where there is no limitation. And with co-creation, there is no limitation. With mastery, there is no limitation, right? When you're becoming a master of something, you're eliminating the possibility, right? You're really limiting the possibilities, right? So mindset work focuses only on your conscious mind, your logical, your thinking brain. And that's 5% of your mind, which means you're only tapping into 5% of your potential. Now, I put it into your perspective that your mind is a $27 billion asset. It's powered by 27 billion kilowatts of power. So where do you want to, you need to know how to harness and direct that power, right, to the outcomes of your choosing. Right? So that you can use this value and this power that is already yours, and that you can leverage and optimize and use 100% of that $27 billion asset. That you can use 100% of those 27 billion kilowatts of power, not 5%, right? So mindset 5%. Now, I don't know about you, right? Personally, I prefer to use 100% of my $27 billion asset and 100% of my 27 billion kilowatts of power versus only 5% of that. In all fairness, 5% of 27 billion is still a decent amount, right? So again, there's still value. But there's limitation. There's still value in mindset, but there's limitation. And that's why I do what I do, and that everything that I do is so strategic and intentional, and a lot of things are extremely nuanced, but it's so that you're actually achieving mastery of your mind. You're mastering the ability to use 100% of the value and the power of this $27 billion asset that you already own. It's already yours. And you can direct that towards anything that you choose, right? So I technically teach you how to use it in regards to your financial life, right? And attaining your financial destiny. However, thanks, Jacqueline. Got to go to bed. I totally understand. I'm gonna wrap up here shortly too. I still have a fair amount of things to do before bed, but it was wonderful to have you. I'll see you either tomorrow night. You can catch me live on Fridays at 11:30 Eastern time if you happen to be around. I'll teach some. I'll also do some Q&A, celebrate your wins. So if you can hop in and join me on Friday, come celebrate your wins, bring your questions. I know Jacqueline is amazing. You guys, she and I've been having some in-depth conversations via voice message on Instagram, which, by the way, I think I probably forgot to respond to your last message. And if that's the case, I apologize. I need to go back and listen to it and respond. But have a good night. Sending you a restful, prosperous sleep. Wishing you a restful, prosperous sleep. Wow, I can't even speak anymore. Okay, so good night, good night. Thank you for being here. But yeah, so that's really, really, the difference, and difference between, right, difference between manifestation and co-creation, and the difference between mindset and mastery. So there is, I'm really, really, really passionate about human potential, right? And giving you access to 100% of your potential, and giving you the ability, again, to direct that towards towards the financial. Come back. Instagram always, my connection goes out. I don't know why. But anyways, like directing that towards the financial destiny of your choosing. Now, what happens with that is a whole lot of other things, right? The financial destiny of your choosing, financial freedom. And ultimately that freedom, what comes along with time and financial freedom, is in the way that in that I teach, in the way that it is created, it is for you to have like personal freedom along with it. And so it is total freedom, right? Freedom from the worry, from the fear, from the doubt, from the shame, from the guilt. There's a whole lot of emotions and limitation that gets stirred up when it comes to money, right? And so part of the freedom is like, yes, again, I it is my intention for everyone to be financially free and free from economic strain. But it is also my intention to give as many people that economic freedom as it is to give you your personal freedom and access to your own personal power to create limitless, infinite, anything that you choose, whatever that financial destiny is that you choose. And I talk about a lot of times, right? So the peaceful billionaire, the mission to, right, the mission to billions. It's not about the money. It's not about the dollars. It's not about the billions, right? It's about helping the most people in the highest and best way. And what I know is that more money in the hands of good people creates more good in the world, right? So good people with good money do good things in the world. Great people with great money do great things in the world. Extraordinary people with extraordinary money do extraordinary things in the world. And it is beyond time for there to be a shift, in that distribution, right? A shift in the distribution, and these large amounts of money in the hands of the people who are here to really, really make this world a better place, to create a ripple effect that makes the world a better place, that creates a world that none of us will ever want to leave, right? That is the mission, the purpose behind everything that I do. Everything is like so strategic, so intentional, to give that to as many people as possible, right? So that ripple effect ends up in your mission, in your purpose, right? So that you're doing your good in the world. I believe that everyone is here. Everyone is here to contribute to this world in a very unique way that is unique to you, not only through your work in the world, but through your contribution. And I believe that contribution happens in more than one way. Contribution happens through your work in the world. Contribution happens through how you interact with others, how you show up for others. And it starts with how you show up for yourself. And then contribution is also, right, how you're able to contribute and give to others, right? And you can give and be in service in creating opportunity for others with more yourself, right? So it starts here. It starts with the individual, but it doesn't stop there. It never stops there. So that is I think that is a beautiful place to stop. And I'm also at 30 minutes. I normally do my best to keep these at 20 minutes, more TED Talk style, but some days and some nights they just tend to go on a little bit longer because I do get in deep into the things that I talk about. That's one thing. If you spend time with me, you will certainly learn and know. I am not a shallow, superficial conversation level person. So you're always gonna receive some depth in the conversation, and in the way that I show up, and in the way that I give, right? So there's always some depth there. And I really do feel that there is that it is one of the things that is missing in the world. I feel like the world, with the rate that technology is expanding, that we currently live in a time where information is in such excess that many people are drowning in information, and they're starving for deep, meaningful connection. And so that depth is actually a requirement for me. It's a requirement for me personally. It's a requirement for me professionally. And it's so nourishing. And so I that is also one of the things that I do my best to always bring forth into the world, is to give others access to that depth, to those depths within yourself. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. It's just a matter of tapping into it, connecting it, and access it. And as you start to experience more of the depths within yourself, that is when you start to experience and understand really the vast depths of others in the world around you. And it's a really, really, really magical, incredible, and beautiful thing. All right, that is all. That is all for this evening. Much love. Superhero of love, Andre. Hey, brother. You totally just missed me. I was literally saying good night. Guess who is on? You got Jupiter in the background, right? I have the best little co-hosts in the world. So but I apologize, brother. You just missed me. I was about to say good night. Sending everyone much love, much peace, much prosperity, and a restful evening. Yes, the babas. Saturn's here snuggled up next to me. So yeah, I was just hopping off. That created such turmoil for me when I first started going live, when I was about to get to go off, and people would jump on. I'm like, oh, do I stay on? Do I still say goodnight? Do I still say goodbye? What do I do? But anyways, hey there. Is it pronounced Jerry or Jerry? Hey there, welcome. I apologize. You're catching me right at the end. I've been live for 33 minutes now, so you just missed me. So just the quick, if you would like to, this was a beautiful conversation tonight. I was chatting about manifestation versus co-creation. What's the difference, right? Where the limitation is with manifestation, and why what I teach and use for myself and for my clients is co-creation. And also the difference between mindset and mastery, and the limitation when it comes to mindset, and why what I also teach and use is mastery. So it was a really, really beautiful conversation. I also did a quick little snippet recap of last night at the very beginning. So if you would like to catch the replay, you can always catch the replays. You can probably find them on Instagram, but for certain, I know you can find all of the replays of my lives on my Instagram channel at The Peaceful Billionaire. You can also catch the Mission to Billions vlog, which is my behind the scenes personal journey. The highs, the lows, full transparency, the highs, the lows, everything in between, of my own journey of what is required internally and externally to create unprecedented levels of peace, fulfillment, and success in my own life and in my own business. And then you can also join me live every Friday at 11:30 Eastern time. I'll be throwing out some pearls of wisdom, some diamonds, some pearls, and some nuggets, some gold nuggets of wisdom. And as well as you can pick my brain, you have the opportunity to ask questions. I welcome questions. So if you ever want to pick my brain, and welcome to do that. And also celebrate your wins, no matter how big or how small, in the week, end your week on an extra high note, to set your weekend off with like the highest and best intentions, right? Why do I celebrate things? Because what you celebrate gets replicated. So no matter how big or how small your wins or successes are, I want to celebrate those with you. And celebrating together also creates that more powerful ripple effect when you celebrate each other, right? That whole ripple effect goes out, and we're creating more and more and more and more and more abundance and prosperity for not only ourselves but for other people. So there's always intention and meaning behind my madness. Like I said, everything that I do is very strategic and intentional for the highest good. So that is all. That is all, my friends. Good night. Good night. I shall see you tomorrow and Friday. I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.